ramifications of which continue to shake up the television landscape today. They've filled our screens with a throng of unruly female characters and stretched the format farther than we ever imagined it could go. So many aspects of women's lives, as momentous as female friendship, as mundane as period pain, have never been depicted with any depth on a small screen, because network executives believed that these things were inherently dull or off-putting. Nowadays, we take it for granted that we'll be seeing female experiences depicted provocatively and hilariously on our screens, courtesy of a bevy of irreverent female writers, producers, directors, and performers. Shonda, Genji, Mindy, Lena, Tina, all those loud, visible female showrunners have made television feel like an equal opportunity dream factory. Most of the young female TV writers I've interviewed came of age watching series such as Gilmore Girls, My So-Called Life, and Grey's Anatomy, and took for granted that Hollywood would make space for them. However, despite the recent spate of high-profile, zeitgeist-defining shows conceived, written, and starring women, television remains a male-dominated industry. Anecdotal evidence suggests that female showrunners earn less than their male counterparts, and there are still far fewer women in those positions of power. According to a report by the Center for the Study of Women in Television and Film, out of all the series on the air in the 2016-2017 season, only 1 in 5 broadcast TV creators was female. It's only slightly better at the supposedly more adventurous cable and streaming outlets, where 26% of creators are female. The report notes something else, though. Shows with at least one female creator hired far more women writers and cast more women in major roles. It's an ever-expanding circle in which powerful female showrunners can enable others to create cultural images and narratives that inspire the next generation of powerful women. This book celebrates the modern era of female-driven and female-focused television, which I trace back to the twin disruptions of Roseanne and Murphy Brown. After all, when you're living through what seems like a golden age, it's important not to take it for granted, to remember that things weren't always so golden, that it took decades of struggle and perseverance in the face of preconceived ideas and outright exclusion to get here. The founding mother of the American TV sitcom, Gertrude Berg, is almost completely forgotten nowadays. In the 1920s, she created the radio sensation The Rise of the Goldbergs, a serial about a Jewish family, broadcast at a time when Nazism was emerging in Europe, and then retooled it as The Goldbergs for the early days of television. Writing, starring in, and producing the comedy series from 1949 to 1955, she retained creative control while playing a matriarch with a shtetl accent. The Goldbergs became one of CBS's top 10 shows in post-war America. A cross-promotional dynamo, Berg spun out of this franchise live shows, books, a line of house dresses, and a movie. A former chorus girl and movie actress who spotted the possibilities of television as her ingenue options waned, Lucille Ball negotiated with CBS executives about creating her own comedy series. They were hesitant to cast her Cuban husband, Desi Arnaz, as her co-star, so the couple convinced them by forming a production company and taking a live prototype of I Love Lucy on the road. The ensuing series about a zany, enterprising redhead and her exasperated bandleader husband was the #1 show in America for most of its 6 years on the air. Ball ignored the prevailing norm of having an all-male writing staff and hired Madeline Pugh, who remained with her for the entire run of the series. That women's point of view showed itself in Lucy, a willful figure who constantly rebelled against her husband's orders. Ball and Arnaz made the canny decision to produce I Love Lucy themselves and to shoot it on film. In those days, TV shows were generally performed and broadcast live and not preserved on tape. Such innovation later allowed them to syndicate the series, keeping Lucy on television screens for decades and making Ball a role model for generations of funny ladies, not to mention a wealthy woman. Although